guys, and welcome to Watching Time. Today we are going to welcome to the family of Zodiacs, at least of my Zodiac collection, without taking into consideration the ones of Lorenzo. A new piece, that I'm really happy to have managed to get my hands on. So I don't know if some of you that like Zodiac and follow Zodiac watches, you probably all know the watermelon. So we are talking about the watermelon that was launched almost a couple of years ago now. It was one of the nicest, I think, re-editions of the Super Sea Wolf. It has been out of stock for a long time, and to get your hands of one of these was very difficult. You had to go to the second market, and to tell you the truth, there's little people selling their Zodiacs. So Zodiacs don't have that fast, let's say, cycle of buying and selling of watches. So it's difficult sometimes to buy used Zodiacs, especially the new models, because they are usually they produce a few number of them, and they are the people that buys them because they like them, and they don't tend to sell it. So it was difficult to find one, and if you managed to get one in Chrono24 or in other websites, it was expensive, much more expensive than it was in the retail price. So to say that, they have recently put back some of these in some of the Zodiac retails, official retails, and back on their website. No, actually, not on their website. Well, which is kind of weird because actually Zodiac has giving this to some of the retails. Obviously, they have finished quickly, but they have not put it back in their website. That they actually restock some of the watches recently, and they're all out of stock again. Well, I was one of the lucky ones to get its hands on, and I definitely couldn't pass the opportunity to add it to my collection. So obviously you know that I have many watches, different types, but I am particularly fond of Zodiac. The history behind, I know many people will tell me, nowadays history of watches becomes a little bit shady, especially when some of them are owned by holdings that are overseas, maybe some of them in Asia, and some are owned by big companies, like in the case of Zodiac, by Fossil. But at the same time, after the crisis of the quartz, many of the brands that were famous and had a history in Swiss watch manufacturing, they almost died. Some of them totally died, and that was the case of Zodiac, that was out of the market for many years until the Fossil Group got it back and relaunch the brand. And we are lucky that they have respected the tradition, they have respected the management, and we are able still to see re-editions of what made Zodiac great at the time. Obviously, they are playing a long game, rebuilding at least on their history. It's a good game at the moment. They will need to start inventing something new for the future, definitely. But models like the Super Sea Wolf will be, on my opinion, an evergreen. Enough of Zodiac. Obviously, we can say it's also one of those brands that has an in-house movement because the STPs are produced by Fossil, owned by Fossil. They are Swiss-made. They are clones, obviously, like the Celitas, but they are very good, and they have, at least on my experience, a very good precision. I have had no problems at all with any of my Zodiacs, so I don't have nothing to say against the STPs. So anyway, this is the watermelon, and one of the nicest characteristics is, first of all, the color. This very light green on the bezel, but also the inner kind of melon color that it has with the silver dial, and the markers that are obviously on green with lume. It's actually blue lume in the dark, and as you can see, I think it's a beautiful match of colors. It gives me another piece that I can use, and to try to put it with clothes that maybe can be nice. Obviously, it's more of a summer watch. Right now we're going into winter, at least in this northern hemisphere. and definitely we will be using it a little less, but it doesn't matter. The other thing that I like about this model in particularly, and the reason why I get it also, is because it comes in a kind of Jubilee bracelet from Zodiac. I think it's very well performed and built. Very nice, the feeling of the steel, but also the comfortability of this watch in your wrist. So, and how it's also, you know, how it's built around the case, which is, it's not a huge case at the end, but how the links here actually bend in your wrist, it's very nice and very comfortable. So as you know, Zodiac watches I think are perfect for any wrist. They are 40 millimeter almost, the case, and the bracelets are interchangeable between the watches, most of them, and it's around 20 millimeters. So I can change if I want, or swap the bracelet with my GMT Super Sea Wolf, or just change it with some of the fabric ones that I have on the other Sea Wolves. And this is also a very nice touch. I wonder, probably one of the 68, it's also fitting obviously, but maybe some of the colors of the other colors that I have on my watches can be of use. Before, I got recently the one that I call the Avocado Zodiac Super Sea Wolf, as you can see, and put them side by side here. The tone of green, at least in the inner circle and in the bezel, are a little bit similar, but at the same time, these are very different watches. I'm really happy with both of them. Just a quick check of the whole Zodiac collection. There is another video in which I talk about all of them, but I just wanted to update you guys on this very nice piece that is going to be added into my collection of Zodiacs. And as you see, I try to collect here also different watches. Some people will say, but you have a lot of Super Sea Wolves. Yes, I do, but if you look at them, they are all different in colors, but not only, also on the bracelet and the type of bracelet that these watches have. None of them repeats itself at the end. And I'm also happy about that, because I can be more versatile on how to use my Zodiacs and how to wear them. So I hope you like this video, and if you like it, please subscribe. If you have any comments, more than happy to share my thoughts with you. Obviously, I'm almost forgetting, I wanted also to do a wrist shot on this. So just very quickly, for the ones of you that like this, my wrist is 18.5 centimeters. So it's not huge, but at the same time, it's a nice wrist for 40 millimeters, 41 millimeters watches. And as you can see on my wrist, this is a perfect fit. I really like the shape and how it sits also on the width of my wrist. So see you next time, guys, and until then, please take care. Bye bye.